Mindworks is both a mini museum for behavioral science as well as an active laboratory where people can basically walk in, learn about some key concepts from our field, and then actively contribute to our field as well as research participants. There are 8 interactive exhibits, so there's a lot of judgment and decision making involved, some kind of cognitive illusions, and then we also try to feature some research from our active researchers right now. So for example, in this exhibit where we are right now, we are educating about choice architecture, which basically means, in a nutshell, that decisions are not made in a vacuum and that the context in which decisions are made really affect how someone makes those decisions and choices.
We have all kinds of exhibits about motivation. We have an exhibit about regret, choice architecture, and it was really important to us that all of the exhibits be interactive, that people be able to see themselves in the exhibits and to really reflect on how they make choices and how these principles that we're talking about here at Mindworks impact their own decision making.
We look at everything from concepts of gift giving all the way up to decisions that CEOs of a company might make. There's kind of like a joke in the field of psychology that psychologists know a lot about undergrads. So in this way we can bring science to the people. It's free, so it's something that's very accessible. In this location, there's a lot of tourists, and we can just diversify our pool a lot.
We are located on Michigan Avenue, right across from the Art Institute, right in the heart of Chicago's cultural corridor. And that was really by design, so that people could see us, could follow their curiosity and come in off the street. The exhibits here were sort of conceived by faculty at the Center for Decision Research and were brought to life by the staff. We also had a great amount of help from great architects at Crook Sexton who built out the space, and a graphic design firm called Pentagram that specializes in spaces like this and data visualizations. One of my favorite exhibits is about regrets. And it asks people as they come in to reflect on a regret they have, either about something that's happened in the last few days or within the span of their whole life. And what we find with this exhibit and the research that this is based on is that in the long term, people tend to regret the things that they didn't do. I wish I had gone on study abroad. I wish I had reconciled with my father before he passed away, that kind of stuff. We found that in the short term, people regret the things that they did. I wish I hadn't had that second piece of cake right before bed. I wish I hadn't stayed up late watching that TV show I'm addicted to. I should have gone to bed early. And so hopefully the takeaway from this is that when people are considering the kinds of big choices in life, that it's probably worth it to err on the side of going for it, to taking that action rather than choosing passivity, because the things that really nag people later in life are the things that you don't get closure about. They're the things you didn't do.
We did one study just recently called Coin Flip, where we basically just asked people to flip a coin a total of 5 times, and before you flip it, you'd predict whether it's heads or tails, and then we got the information back, and it was more just about how people would assume if they did really well, they thought it was like a more skill-based thing and not just purely based on luck.
Opening up the world's first behavioral science discovery center was bold enough during a pandemic, I would say, is kind of a little bit crazy. And then on top of it, being successful after a whole year and be able to celebrate that, I think that was really a memorable experience.
In addition to elaborating on a lot of these established concepts, we can teach people about themselves. So when they come, they contribute, but they also have a takeaway. And so we pay participants via points. So it's all very gamified here as well. So you earn points for taking part in experiments with us, and then you can trade those points for prizes.
And in our first year of operations, we've awarded over 2 million points.
So I like the face exhibit a lot. I like to study it, and also I'm doing some of the research outside of work about it. So just basically we study facial expression, what makes a person friendly, threatening, or outgoing the first time you meet them without even knowing about them. So we have a photo booth over there that actually you sit down, we would take a photo of you, and based on the techniques we have, we would kind of morph your face funnily based on what we have studied.
A lot of the exhibits kind of boils down to how we maybe don't know our minds sometimes, how we take shortcuts sometimes, and how once you learn about those shortcuts, you can kind of overcome them and and then make better decisions for yourselves and your communities.
One of the things that makes Mindworks truly unique, and not just a museum, but something that's really one of a kind, is that we engage our visitors in empirical research. We ask them to participate in expanding what we know about decision making, and we do that by having them take short surveys, by taking studies where they interact with other folks, where they make quick decisions. Maybe they make considered rational decisions together or alone, and that really helps us create new knowledge and expand the boundaries of what we know about decision making.